I did have this broke. I'll kind of do some shop talk now because I mean I'm pretty much done with the bike. I usually do this in a few of my videos, just talk about stuff in the shop because I'm a huge shop guy. I love my shop. I love looking at other people's shops on YouTube and seeing what they got. So pretty much this was my last roll around seat, and that's what's left of it. It pretty much broke like every other cheap seat does, right there on the top where it pretty much pivots, you know, just from moving. Everything else still works on it, but I actually tried to re-weld it and it just didn't work. And usually if you re-weld them, you get it so hot that you burn out the seals in the pump, which I didn't have that problem because I was able to take that bracket off and weld it alone. So that's still fine. I may find a way to attach it one day, but right now it's just, in my opinion, it's just a junk. And I use that seat there, the cushion, because it's flat. I can use it to get down on my knee and real quick or something, you know, and not get my knee dirty and not hurt my knee from being on the concrete. But I went ahead and bought another cheap one from Walmart, so hopefully this one will last a little bit longer. I'm not too happy with the build quality. It's got a lot of cushioning down below. It's pretty much, that whole tray there is plastic, but it does have a metal frame going around it and of course upholding the seat, but it's just junk. I do like the jack though from Walmart. This is just a 2.5 ton jack. It's a low profile type of jack and it works great. I've not had a problem with it going from this little, I think that's a 1 ton or half a ton jack there. That one leaks out a lot, and actually that's, you know, now that I think of it, this one was leaking out last time I used it. It just slowly comes down, and I'm not sure if they're supposed to do that, but I would almost associate that with a cheap tool wanting to leak out like that. So I may try to put some kind of stop leaking. I don't even know if that's the problem or if it's just supposed to do that, because it's not leaking oil or anything. And the last time I had one leaking oil, I probably don't have it up here, but I used a jack stop leak, and yeah, I don't see it up there, but and I put it in that jack and it didn't help it at all. So that's just something that's probably associated with very cheap tools. So I think I talked about this in my last video on this Craftsman drill press here. So you can see I've got a pretty big bit in there. I think that's almost the biggest bit in my kit. Let me take a look here. And I think I still probably could have put a little bit bigger one in there, and it works super well. If I can get this box open here. Yeah, that's the biggest bit in my kit, so it fits the biggest one in there, and it works really well, and it's super quiet. So, and it's, like I said, I think this is in the last video, but it's all adjustable. Right now it's on a metal setting, so I think it turns at a slower RPM. And then if you get up to the wooden, it'll turn at 3100 RPM. Right now it's at a 620 setting. So it works super well. 50 bucks for that. Super happy with it. I made a video on this engine rebuild. That's kind of on hold at the moment because I've got some other purchases I need to make for this, and this is kind of going to be a long-term rebuild anyway. So pretty much I've just got a bag over it since the heads are off, because I've done a lot of metal cutting and wood cutting since then, and you know, you don't want none of that in your head or anywhere around it. So pretty much that's all wrapped up and cordoned off as much as it can be. I'm really wanting to get a small shed. I've got one out there, but it's filled up. It's got my actual John Deere riding mower in it that I mow with, and it's got a go-kart in there and my spare tires for my truck. So it's kind of full up, but I really want to get this parts bike out of here, or possibly even get it broke down as much as I can. And besides having it a rolling chassis, I think it's just going to be easier to have that as a rolling chassis. The only thing is I don't want to put those forks anywhere where they're going to get ruined, because those are very, very nice forks and they work so good. And I'd really like for those to go to somebody that needs a good set of forks on their Suzuki. Those are 37mm tubes, so if anybody needs them. The only thing is, I've got the brackets for the brakes, but like I said, one of the calipers has a broken off bleeder valve, so that may hinder me selling those very easily unless somebody already has them. So I'm going to try to get all of that stuff out of here and do something with it. Even that extra engine block over here, this is pretty much just the block. It's got a lot of the smaller parts in it, but I don't plan on rebuilding it. I mean, I may use a piece or two here for parts. But it's actually different than the one I'm rebuilding. Like these cases here are completely flat on the sides where your clutch cover and stuff goes. And just like that one's completely flat. Well, I don't know if we can see it on here, but this one's quite a bit different. And it's actually a different capacity of oil. This one's a 3,000 milliliter oil capacity, and it's actually curved. It starts back here and curves out. So it's, I mean, it comes from, that's at least like 1.5 inch curve going from here to here, you know. So it's quite a bit different. So really, a lot of these parts probably aren't going to work on that one, which is kind of sucky. But they will work on this one. So I mean, I'll have extra when I do take this motor off and rebuild it, which I don't plan on anytime soon, because we did have a problem with it leaking the oil over into the gear oil box and then pushing that out, the overflow of the gear oil, so it was dripping gear oil and then getting oil in the gear oil. So that's quit now because I put some AT, I think it was AT205 reseal in it. And it worked great. There's no leak anymore. It's still building pressure in the oil perfectly. So that leak's quit. I'm pretty happy with that. It doesn't even smoke anymore. So I think that even got up in the valve seals and helped that, because for a little bit I was having this residue dripping out of my breather tube up here. It's all gone now, and it's done its job. So I think it got up there in the head and helped my valve seals even, so I don't even have to put valve seals on here, because it was smoking a little bit. Like if you came off of a high RPM and you just, you know, were slowing down and shifting down or something, and it put stress on the engine or whatever, it would smoke a little bit. Or even at a takeoff, you know, it would just push a little poof of smoke out and whatnot, and that's even quit now. So I'm pretty happy with that stuff. So I highly recommend that. My buddy suggested it, and it was on Scotty Kilmer's channel. I don't know if anybody watches that. It's a car question type of guy. He just helps tons of stuff, you know. So props to him for that, because it's saved this engine from a rebuild anytime soon. And this engine's just perfect now, so I'm completely happy with that. I know this video is kind of going on long, but it's just been so long since I've made one, so I may cut it in half between that and the shop talk. So if it gets cut, that's why. Because most people only want to watch about a 10-minute video before they get sidetracked and get bored or whatever. So other than that, that's kind of all that's been going on in the shop. I can't think of anything else that I could talk about. So just got a lot of parts laying around, a lot of cleaning up to do. It's like I just cleaned this garage like less than a week ago, and I've already just got it trashed again, which is, you know, what a garage is for. But I usually like to have it pretty clean and organized. But I've got so much going on now that it's just almost impossible to keep it clean at this time. So I'm really thinking about getting rid of this cabinet because I don't use it. Getting rid of that and moving this somewhere else, possibly over to this side. The only thing is I don't have plugins on this side. So this whole garage this summer, I'm gonna take everything out of here, insulate the walls, put up plywood, and run my electrical to this side, because I've only got electrical ran here and on that back wall. Because when I first got this garage, of course, it was just a carport, and I've closed it in since then, and it works good, but I just need it to be insulated because it is hard to keep it going. I usually leave this little heater on, and it keeps it, I mean, if it's about 30 degrees out, it'll keep it a 10-degree difference. Right now it's probably about 42 degrees out, and it's about 57 now, so I mean there's quite a big difference there, but it's just because it's a warmer day. Of course, it's going to easily keep it warmer when it's warmer outside. So really what I want to do, like I said, is completely just enclose this whole bottom part below these shelves and make it like a part shelf, kind of what that is up there, except this shelf now needs fixed because I got these shelves for free. And they use this particle board on here for this shelf. The middle one's fine, that I'm actually holding all the stuff on. But then the top shelf is pretty much just giving way, because I do have a little bit of a leak up here. And that's just going to require to be up on the roof, but I just haven't got around to it. It's not too big a deal to me because there's nothing it can hurt in here. And all I'd really have to do is replace some boards up there and that kind of thing. So really I want to fix these two shelves and then completely enclose that over there with a shelf that I can just throw all these parts on, all these extra pieces and all this extra stuff that I got in tubs over here. I want to be able to have it out to where I know what I have. This whole yellow box is completely filled with every part that goes to that engine to be rebuilt. So that's got all the pistons, all the, I mean, everything in it. So that I don't mind leaving in the box because it kind of keeps it together. But all this stuff needs to come out. We're actually going to try to go to a motorcycle show, swap meet type of deal. And I'm probably going to set up a table. I really doubt that there's going to be many people there looking for 81 Suzuki GS parts, you know. But I'll probably throw a few ads online to say, hey, I'm going to be here on this day, and there's going to be some parts for cheap. So if you need anything, come on down, because I'm pretty much going to take this entire titled frame, all the parts that go to it, because I could probably pretty much build a whole nother bike with that. I mean, everything's there. It's titled. I've got 2 motors. I just don't want to. I just want to have all the parts extra for this. So yeah, that's what's going to be going on in the shop this summer. Insulating it, new shelving, cleaned it up quite a bit. Other than that, hope you guys enjoyed the long video. I normally don't make them this long and go on talking as much, but it's just been a while since I made a video, and I had a lot that I needed to get out. So hopefully this is gonna be a decent video. But I really enjoy shop talk videos and showing the shop and that kind of thing. All this stuff up here has got to go. I'm gonna try to put all my, like my leaf blower and all my weed eaters in my other little shed. That way everything, you know, for like the yard work's out of here. And this is basically just a shop for, you know, just fixing stuff, and it's not storage for, you know, I just got stuff stored everywhere. So I want to make a nice shelf for all my helmets, because I've got 3 dirt bike helmets. I've got that one, and this one. Then I've got 3 sport bike helmets up there. I want to make a really nice shelf for all of them, maybe somewhere like right over here. Put up a shelf across that window, because there's actually 2 windows, one over there and one here, and of course they don't get used, so I may just throw some cardboard over them for insulation like I did that one, and just put some shelves up in front of it and be done. The only thing is on that, not that I pull anything in here. I mean, I did when I built this. We made it wide enough that I can pull both my vehicles in here just fine, and pull them all the way up. It's just not, and that's another reason why I made this shelf fold up. This whole shelf here, even though I've got it crammed with stuff, if I had to get that up out of the way to get my truck in here, if it needed a rebuild or something like that, you know, that whole shelf goes up, and then it's got a locking piece that drops down and bolts it to the wall. And I don't think these shelves will be in the way, because they're not much past that, and you know, if need be, I could pull it this way a little bit more. But the only thing is, I want to make those shelves no deeper, or no more out than that right there, which will give me, you know, a good foot of space there, or you know, so I think that'll be perfect. And then I really got to do something with these doors to insulate them. I mean, I could probably throw some insulation on here, and it would be fine, and then just cover it with some plastic or something. But I don't really want to do plastic, because in a shop you're going to hit that plastic. It's going to get torn. It's going to look shitty after a while. So I really want to just enclose all of this with some kind of plywood, or even something a little thinner than plywood, maybe like quarter-inch wood, you know, just to cover it all up, because I don't want to come off of that wall too much, because every bit I come off of that wall I'm losing space, and I'm really going to lose a lot of space when I do that insulation. As you can see, all my stuff's kind of tucked back in the spots, and like over here I've got stuff just hanging, and all that's going to have to come out. So alright, well, I appreciate everybody watching. Been kind of a long video, but that's what's going on. There's going to be some more shop update videos this summer when I'm got everything ripped out. I'm going to try to get it done in like a day or so. I'm going to try to just pull everything out, insulate it, and because I mean, if I set my mind to it, I can get this done on my own, and just pull every bit of this out, pull every shelf down, pull it all out in a day, and get it all insulated. And maybe not get it boarded up, but then I can just kind of pile everything back here in the middle. Not that I'm too worried about anybody around here stealing things. I mean, I've never had nothing stolen off my property or nobody broken in, but you know, that's just because probably they don't want to get shot in their ass. Other than that, got a lot to do. So appreciate everybody watching. A lot of rambling. This has been almost a 30-minute video now, so I'll probably just cut it into 2 15-minute videos, or try to shorten it somewhere. So Thanks for watching.